Computer and Engineering and course leader for BSc Cybersecurity and Forensics at the University of Westminster. Good afternoon, Professor. Pleasure to speak to you this afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me.
How much of a surprise is this then, that the IT outage has affected so many systems across the world?
Unfortunately, not surprised at all. I mean, as you know, the internet and all of our connected world share the same infrastructure, whether that is the cloud, service provider, or third party, and everything basically is what makes the internet. This example of this incident today is the perfect example of what we call digital supply chain. Once a major service provider is affected, something like Crowdstrike, naturally it causes this large-scale outage that affects many systems globally. It's actually not the first one. We've had before with Facebook and WhatsApp, with a small service that goes wrong and everything goes wrong after it.
It's like a domino effect, isn't it, essentially?
Absolutely.
And it almost feels, though, that it's happening more and more. Should we kind of look at this differently and think we're fortunate it doesn't happen more often?
Actually, we are definitely fortunate that it doesn't happen more often, as you can see. And as you said in your introduction, it does have this massive scale impact, and the outage is affecting every aspect of our daily life and all the services that we use every day. It doesn't happen very often, but when it happens, it tends to have this massive scale. In the very early morning, I remember I was listening to someone in Australia, and obviously because in Australia and New Zealand, with the time difference, it happens very early in the morning there. I've heard of people not able to make their flights, of people trying to. It basically affects our front end, all the services that we deal with as users. So the ticketing desk and the GP computer that is able to look at records for patients and so on. So it does affect us more than it affects services, the operation. It affects the end user more than anyone else.
It's quite something, isn't it? Because of the fact, as I mentioned earlier on, that this particular outage, it's affected so many organisations that even though they are saying that they're fixing the problem, a software fix has been sent out. It could take days, couldn't it, for big organisations to get back to normal?
Yes. Unfortunately, and I think it's going to be a very long weekend for IT teams and support teams across the world. With this kind of things, it's usually there's a lot of backlog in terms of putting back. For example, Crowdstrike is suggesting that to roll back to previous version of the software so that when it was working fine. And that for large-scale organizations takes a lot of time. And it takes time, and it basically, obviously, it causes a lot of losses, but it also causes a lot of delays in terms of processes in an organization. And companies, to go back to normal, they need to have a proper business continuity plan in place and disaster recovery plan in place. This is actually an important incident for us to also remember that disaster recovery is extremely essential, and business continuity is extremely essential. As you can see, it's bringing the infrastructure to standstill at some point. Yeah.
Is this also not an opportunity? If we focus on London for just a moment, I did mention earlier, only last month we were giving the latest reports with regards to the IT hack, which affects so many London hospitals. We are still feeling the ramifications of that even today. So is this not an opportunity for us, maybe as a society, to hold up a mirror and say, are we becoming too reliant on IT, on technology, on software systems? Do we not need to take it back to basics, maybe, with a paper and pen?
I'm not sure if we can go back to basics at this point. I mean, like you said, we are relying on technology to the point where one service can bring the world to standstill. I would say we need to look more at processes that we have in place to fix those problems and processes so that a simple, I don't want to say simple, but an update that is maybe a planned update can cause such a devastating impact is something that I'm pretty sure can be avoided. Usually updates go through proper planning and testing before deployment. So I don't really know what happened in that case, in that specific incident today. But I would say we need to have better processes to avoid such problems. I'm not sure if I can talk about cybersecurity, although today it wasn't a cyber incident, but in cybersecurity specifically, we've been having issues that have been around for a while as well.
Yes,
and it feels like that we can't really get the grasp of the proper process that we need to have in order to move forward, and we're still stuck with these small problems that keep on surprising us.
Now, let me ask you this, just finally, Professor. Microsoft have said that the underlying cause of the mass IT outage has been fixed, but there will still be a residual impact. It's continuing to affect some services. If the problem has been fixed, why does it take so long to filter through? Because, just at the flick of a button, the whole world almost has come to a standstill. Why then is it that it just takes this long for everything to filter through?
Well, specifically with large organizations, I'm not sure if you're aware, the problem specifically is not allowing systems to actually restart. We can't switch it off. So the please clean up that is keeping the computer from switching off until you probably do like a hard reset or something. But what this means is that when you switch off such systems, you're not really switching a computer at home, switching it off. You're switching a system that is reliant on other infrastructure and databases and other front-end softwares and websites and so on. So you're actually switching off a lot of other systems together. And for them to go back, on top of solving the actual problem of removing that update that caused the issue, with IT teams, it will take time. It will. I don't know if it will take weeks. I've read somewhere that it will take weeks. I'm a bit doubtful about this. I think it should take less than that, but it will take time for things to go back to normal. That's for sure.
Pleasure having you here on BBC Radio London. Thank you for joining me, Professor Ayman El-Hajja, Professor of Computer and Engineering and course leader for Cybersecurity and Forensics at the University of Westminster. If you've been affected, can you get in touch, share exactly how you've been affected, 0800 731 2000 by the IT outage. And also, if you just have frustrations around this, what are your thoughts? You can always email shay@bbc.co.uk and do weigh in on the conversation.